Good afternoon, America. Yeah, you don't often see me sporting a ball cap. I might be wearing this one a lot. Came from a friend of mine that's a patron, has been for a while, and she knows who she is, and I've already sent her a thank you. And thank you, because we really need to think about that. I titled this one today, A World Without Rules. Now, I tell you, I wouldn't mind a world without rulers, but I sure can't stand one without rules. And that's kind of where we seem to be right now. I look at all the executive orders that are going out into courtrooms at all levels and being challenged in court and lost by the Trump administration. Those are rules that he broke. You have to remember that they were taken into courtrooms because someone has pointed out that they go against the law, against the rules. I look just as much at the number of things that are truly ethical violations. The president putting his name as the president on an ad for Trump cryptocurrency. It's against the rules. Things like Trump doing a Tesla commercial on the White House front lawn. In any other administration, those violations, and they're violations of the Hatch Act, by the way, would end up, they'd end up bringing impeachment questions. But I guess the world's gotten used to a world without rules. And I guess a certain subsection has gotten used to the idea of a ruler that only cares about the rules that he puts in place. You know, the Hatch Act violations. How many times did that happen the last time he was in office? And it all went by. It was mentioned. People talked about it. Nothing ever happened with it. For me, though, there are two overriding issues. The first is the lies and the deflections surrounding these screw-ups. And I don't want to, call them anything else. The latest example is Signalgate. Now, we've got the lies and the deflections, and I don't care what you say about it. That was a screw-up. So the first thing they come out with from this administration is it wasn't classified information. Well, if it wasn't, it sure as shit should have been. Give that a little bit of thought. In an open chat format, you announce what weapons you'll be using, when they'll be leaving, what will be carrying them, where they'll be leaving from, what time they will arrive, and what the target is. How the hell is that not classified? Sure ought to be. Now, to me, that one's on Mike Waltz and Pete Hegseth. But I have questions there as well. How did you not catch that in the chat? And how did none of the other top officials not catch that in the chat? Why didn't anyone in the chat mention this is pretty sensitive information? Now, one would think that for top Defense Department officials, that would be an automatic. Not in this White House. But let's add one more element. Mike Waltz, National Security Advisor, I think, added Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor-in-chief of Atlantic Magazine. Now, maybe a lot of the people in the chat didn't know or weren't aware of who the JG was in this chat. But being the person that added him, you got to think Mike Waltz must have known. But here we get into the deflection phase. The statements have included, it wasn't classified material. Oh, it was a glitch in the app. By the way, the glitch in the app, that came from Pete Hegseth. No, Pete, it wasn't the app. It was another one of the morons that the incompetent president, well, I don't know, vice president, acting president, sort of cosplay president, Donald Trump, has put into power. I had it pointed out to me today, and there are a lot of people that will point this out, that this is not the first time that insecure devices have been used to transmit information from within the administration. Go all the way back to we got the BlackBerry scandal, the computer scandal, the email server scandal, the first server scandal, the email scandal itself, the second server scandal with Ivanka and Jared. It's not the first time we've heard about these kind of things. And I can't help but think it won't be the last. What I do know is what was said in the insecure messages this time, this conversation. I know that. Now, we don't know about the previous ones. And there are questionable reasons why we don't know. I'm not real keen on that either. But that is not the issue at hand. The issue at hand is that this chat could have gotten servicemen and women killed. Pure and simple and pure incompetence. In any reasonable administration, this kind of screw-up would be met with high-level resignations or terminations. Not this one. It seems to me that being unqualified and incompetent is the very first thing they look for on a resume. So, our proud Christian nationalist administration, translation, Nazis, are dumb enough to put what should be classified material on an insecure messaging app that pretty much covers the whole plan, right down to what weapons will be used and when they'll take off, when they'll attack, where they'll attack, what time they'll attack, the whole number of everything about it. And then add a journalist to the recipients by intent or mistake. Either way, it shows the stupidity and incompetence that is the Trump administration. They did this, it got reported to a major news outlet, and it was through their own screw-ups. But here's the real kicker. One of the things that have been said is that somehow this is something that should be blamed on the liberal left. Somebody please make that make sense to me. How did the liberal left have anything to do with this? Make that make sense to me. It doesn't right now, that's for damn sure. My God, these people are inept. You know, I find it kind of a wonder that already Russia, China, North Korea, or for that matter, Andorra, haven't invaded us and actually taken over. A lot of you are going to have to look up Andorra, but go ahead and look up Andorra and look up their military capabilities. Anyway, we seem to have a world without rules, at least in the Trump White House. I'm not good with that, and I don't think you should be either. All right, that's what I got, people. First, I want to thank my good friend for this. Y'all will figure that out if you haven't. And also, a big thank you to all of you. You've helped a lot in the last couple of months. It's helped Valerie and I, and it's made a difference, and I appreciate it. Now, in the description of this video are 2 links, an Amazon wish list and a PayPal link. Any help there is greatly appreciated, and You have the ability here on Facebook, every time you hit that star thing, I think it's up there on my screen. I don't know where it is on yours, but every time you hit that, it throws a few pennies my way. Really, honestly, literally a few pennies. But those few pennies got me $11 last month. I'm not going to complain about that. And if you can help that way, that's incredible. And I thank you for it. More than anything else, though, let's keep fighting. I love you, America. Share this shit.